What's
Hello,
up?
hello, hello. How's everybody doing? Happy what day is it? Wednesday? I think it's hump day. We're right in the middle.
Wednesday.
Sheesh. Snuck up on me for sure. But today the market is kind of boring, so we're going to give you a quick overview of the market. I have a handful of articles and a couple of things we're going to talk about. But today's going to be a slightly shorter day because market's boring. So
Yep. And we are in the exact same spot we were in yesterday as far as price action.
So we may or may not be going down into the ring of fire.
Oh, I think we are. It's just
jeez.
it's just a matter of when.
Oh, jeez. Well, let's not waste any time. Let's get straight into it. First of all, let's reset the room. So everybody out there, do us a favor, hit that like, the repost, share this with a friend. If we all were to share this with one friend, we'd have twice as many people in here. And, we work really hard to bring you the daily news nightly, every day, Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Pacific time. So thank you all for joining us. Shout out to Fozzie. But let's get into market update. Let's see what's going on.
All right. That is the wrong screen. Okay. There we go.
It's okay.
And let's get the freshest data here. So coming in at down 1.3%, market cap at 2.74 trillion, pretty much the exact same spot we were yesterday. Low volume, 87 billion. Bitcoin dominance at 60.9. Ethereum fell below 7. Ethereum is just bleeding. It's just bleeding. And less than 1 GUI to send to ETH transaction. Let's see here.
Here's a question.
121. Look at this. Go ahead.
With Ethereum going down like it has been performing like, I just think maybe like one of the worst performers, I think in the top 10. Easily.
Well, yeah, it's like below. It never even came close to a new all-time high.
Do you think that it'll get flipped this cycle?
If it keeps up,
because if it keeps going down and everything else keeps going up,
away. It's only 70 billion away from XRP.
Oh, I mean, it just has to go down a little bit, and XRP just has to pump a little bit, and then that's gonna be crazy. The XRP people are gonna go nuts. The ETH maxis are gonna be wearing the cone of shame. It's gonna be crazy.
So let's see here. What's that? Divide that by 260. If XRP was at $3, it would damn near be at Ethereum's. Let me see here. All right, since we're talking about it, we got to bring it up real quick. XRP to Ethereum. So XRP only needs to go to $3.27 to hit the same market cap. It's only got to go up 58% to hit the same market cap as Ethereum. And Ethereum has already proven that it's not a strong pumper. So when the market turns, I don't know if I think XRP will move faster. Well, smaller market cap, so obviously move faster. But I don't think Ethereum is going to be able to stay above it. We might see the flipping. It's quite possible. Look at that. For 191 billion, it only has to be $3.27. What's the freaking the all-time high here? It won't let me. There we go. Let me 331. So
you're pretty close.
Pretty close. So we got Bitcoin coming in at 84,156, up 1%. Ethereum at 1584, down 0.2. XRP at 208, down 0.2. BNB at 583, up 1%. Solana at 131. So Solana moved today to up 4.6%. We got Tron at 2446, down 2.5. Dogecoin at 1549, up 0.8. Cardano is absolutely flat, coming in at 6111. And let's scroll down here. Let's find, we fell out of the top 20, back to 21 at 205, down 1.7 for Sweet. Let's check out the biggest gainers. Fartcoin, yay, is up 8.6. Curve DAO up 7. Hyperliquid up 6. Solana up 4.6. Binance, that's Sol. Dexy up 3.3. Jupe up 2.7. So not very many gainers. Definitely no big gainers. And biggest losers, we got Tia, Celestia down 6. Flare down 4. Near down 3.3. WorldCoin down 2.6, Tron down 2.4. See, and not a lot of losers either. You know, I mean, we don't have very many that are above, the 1% range. So flat market today. Very boring. Very, very hard to stay enthused about the market. But what I am enthused about are buying opportunities.
Yes.
So,
if you have conviction, we've been talking about this, you need to look at your conviction plays and accumulate those in this type of a market, right? You want a bigger bag by the end of this. The prices are better. You're going to be able to bring down your buying average during this period of time. So you need to look at it that way. This is a massive opportunity, right? You increase your gains, right?
Just like anybody who's been in Cardano since 2021, they know all about bringing down your cost of entry.
Yes. Yes. But without further ado, let's get this word from our sponsors. And we cannot wait to see you guys in Vegas. And join us at Rare Evo, the top blockchain conference, August 6th through 10th, 2025, at Caesars Palace in Las Vegas. The top blockchain projects like Algorand, Midnight, HBAR, ICP, Thorchain, and Igon, and many more are going to be there. This is definitely a must for blockchain enthusiasts and fans. Use discount code CryptoNightly to save on your tickets and to support the channel. Don't miss it. We can't wait to see you there. It's going to be a blast.
Boom.
All
you were
right.
ready to go on this one.
I was ready to go. So we got this. What is up, J Coco?
What's up, J Coco?
What's up,
and Daniel? What's going on?
All good, unless you bought the dip too poor.
Right.
Yep. Shout out to everybody. Happy Wednesday. So I wanted to hit this because I thought it was interesting. We love the Jerome Powell man. Gets paid over $200,000 a year to say nothing while asked questions for what, like an hour?
Right.
We went through a wave of failures and fraud and things like that were the headlines for a couple of years. And I think what you see now is, and during that period, by the way, we worked with Congress to try to get a legal framework for stable coins, which would have been a nice place to start. We were not successful. I think that the climate is changing, and you're moving into sort of more mainstreaming of that whole sector. So Congress is again looking at both the Senate and the House are looking at a legal framework for stable coins. Depending on what's in it, that's a good idea. We need that. There isn't one now. And stable coins are a digital product that could actually have fairly wide appeal and should contain consumer protections of the typical sorts and transparency. And that's what the Senate and the House are working on. So that's a positive thing. I also think some of the, we took a pretty conservative, and other bank regulators took an even more conservative perspective on the guidance and rules we imposed on banks. I think there'll be some loosening of that, and I think we'll try to do it in a way that preserves safety and soundness, but that permits and fosters appropriate appropriate innovation, but that does so in a way that again doesn't put consumers at risk in ways they don't understand or make banks less safe and sound.
All right, so I wanted to bring this up because Jerome Powell says a lot of things that are really important there. For one, he mentions that in previous administrations or in the past before this administration, they had tried to get some stablecoin bill clarity and they weren't able to do it. But now it seems like everybody is together on trying to push some of these things through, which this is cool. There'll be clarity. He also is almost re-highlighting something he said before. He had previously said that he believes that banks are well equipped to custodian cryptocurrency. So we know that this is something that is happening. If you're in crypto for the libertarian freedom, self-sovereignty purposes, then we don't necessarily want banks to hold our crypto because that's just like I don't know. There's an episode of Rick and Morty where they talk about slavery with extra steps. Okay, so this is basically just the same thing we're trying to get out of with extra steps, right? So instead of self-custody, by putting it in the bank, you're still having the same problem. You have to trust the third party, the bank, and everything. But he's basically saying that the whole government and everything that's going on is kind of getting on board on the same page with this. So I think that this is a good thing for mass adoption. I think it is kind of a bad thing in the sense that it's going to make it too easy for everybody to have their crypto held by somebody else. And remember, not your keys, not your crypto. And so we learned this with FTX and different things like that. So I think that this is a mixed bag, but it's a positive direction. Right.
And I think you guys have to understand that Jerome Powell is like the top banker in the country. He is a banker. You know, the Federal Reserve, it's essentially our central bank. You know, European, you have the ECB, the European Central Bank. Well, the Federal Reserve is our central bank. And the legislation he's talking about was actually brought forward in last Congress. And I believe it was spearheaded by Patrick Henry. So Maxine Waters, Patrick Henry, and somebody else, and it never got pushed through. But this is the same framework that they're using, the new crypto digital asset panel with David Sachs and all them. That's the framework that they're remolding and using to try and implement for stablecoins.
Yep. So I think that this is a good and a bad thing, but I think it's good for mass adoption. I think it's bad for the new onboarded people that will probably not learn how to create a wallet, probably not learn how to self-custody their own crypto. But it'll be easier, and that's what is necessary for mass adoption. If it's not easy, then it won't be mass adopted. Except for out of necessity. Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you a question. So you said they won't, most people don't know how to create a wallet or whatever, and we're, since we've been in this so long, we're going under the guise of like, you got to have a seed phrase, this, and that. But with account abstraction, and it seems like we're moving more and more and more towards, as long as you have a Gmail account or something to that effect, you just sign into your wallet. Do you think that that's the way we're going? And it's just going to be like the old diehard OGs that actually use a seed phrase wallet?
Yes, 100%. I think that it's kind of similar. Like at the kind of the beginning, right? You had the cyberpunks, but you had the original kind of like
the original cypherpunks, Adam Beck and all them, all those guys.
But even the ones with the like original NFTs, I believe what are they called? The CryptoPunks.
Yeah.
like those guys were also kind of like early,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
They had like one of the first generations of NFTs, and those guys, like some of them today, like are still anonymous, right? And
Right.
they take that privacy very seriously. I think that there's still going to be that like subsector of people, and that subsector will be like probably us, right? So it'll be a bigger community, but I do believe that the majority of people are never going to learn. You know, it's kind of like I'm surprised all the time. Like some people don't know how to change a car tire. Well, you
Right.
know, they don't have to know. They have AAA. You
Right.
know, like so. I think
Hell,
that that's kind of what's going to happen.
cars nowadays don't even come with spare tires.
Yeah, which is crazy. So
Yeah.
crazy.
When I bought the Cadillac, it don't have a spare tire. It's
That's
got
so
one of
crazy.
them fake inflatable. I mean, not like my mom would be out there changing her freaking tire, but you know, if she stops, that's why I got AAA, so she can call AAA.
Yeah.
But it's weird that it doesn't even have a tire. Even the car I had before my truck, 2017 Cruise, the only reason it came with a spare tire is because I had the fully loaded edition. I had the LTZ. If I would have got just like the regular one, it wouldn't have came with a tire. It would have just came with a can of inflated flat.
That's crazy.
That is crazy, right?
That's super crazy. So really, it just comes with one of those like inflatable
Just a
flat.
can of inflated flat. And
That's
and think of it even this way. 50, 60 years ago, cars used the manual that came with your car used to tell you how to change your timing and set your carburetor, you know. But obviously nowadays we got, you know, computers for cars, but yeah,
yeah. I
that's
was
how
gonna say most
far.
cars nowadays,
Yeah.
you plug it in and they like do something,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
absolutely crazy. I mean, you know, Tesla's like they update them remotely.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's the world we're going to. I think it's interesting, but like, yeah, it's kind of weird. So it's important to have an understanding of some basic things just in case, you know. Uh,
Right.
that's my feeling there. But we have a couple other things here that I thought were interesting. So, have you seen this with the Adobe? I think that this is old, but I saw this and I wanted to show it because it was like one of their showcases.
I have the shape of a dragon and a warrior. Now I want a warrior to fight a dragon. But I suddenly realized that the warrior is looking at the wrong direction. The warrior should be looking at the dragon, right? So I have to turn the warrior around to face the dragon. But you see, it's a 2D vector shape. And I cannot just turn it around. Now, normally, I have to redraw the entire shape, which is going to take a lot of time. But here, let me show you our new tool. I'll just need to select the shape and click this Generate Views button. And then I can just rotate the shape by simply dragging this slider.
Okay, so
That-
I wanted to show that because it's so minuscule, but it's a massive thing that's happening there with AI.
No. That is cool as hell because so like when I'm making the thumbnails and stuff like that, and I got like the coins on there, but I don't want them all just facing forward. So you have to go into like skew and perspective and then like pull their point back here, and kind of, so it kind of like turns it. But if I know that I can just go in there and use this method, then I can just turn the freaking coin. Because, you know,
Yes.
sometimes you want them different depths and small. And so like, that's cool as hell.
So yeah,
like
this is we love to talk about AI here on the show. So there's were a couple of things, but basically Adobe has implemented this AI where you can turn any 2D dimensional art into 3D art. So like for game design, for animations, for all kinds of stuff, this is going to be absolutely crazy. Because imagine kind of like when you look at the old like flip book animation things where you have the book and then you're flipping it, and then as the pages go you see just like slight incremental changes that when presented quickly show action or an animation. So this is basically the process that artists have to go through for a lot of this different kind of art, right? So for that 3D turn or just to show the side of it, they would have had to redraw this multiple times. So as far as saving time, making life easier, these are kind of some of the cool things that are coming. I think we're going to start to see movies, animated movies, and different things, and regular movies, right? Just produced at a much quicker pace, right? With smaller teams. I think that we're going to see a new explosion of like indie content, like indie movies. I think this is kind of the stuff that we're going to start to see, because once you don't need a multi-billion-dollar studio to develop your movie, and just a group of friends with an idea can produce something very high quality, I think that this is exciting. This is kind of the stuff that I like. Anybody can pop off. So this was cool.
Yep.
And then he did it with the dragon too. So like maybe we'll show.
Yeah. Now let's also try the dragon. I'll just select the dragon and click this button. Let's wait for the progress bar to finish. Then I can just turn the dragon around like this.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Right. So this was a pretty big deal. And I know some people are not excited, but
what's that video? What's that link right there, Fozzie? I don't think it'll let me click on the actual link. AI flick nips, some cool movie trailers done by AI. Okay, cool. So yeah,
let's see. Yeah, we'll definitely check that out. Unfortunately can't check it directly from that link right now from StreamYard.
right.
But we will come back to it. Maybe we'll mention it tomorrow. Let's see. And then, so then this was cool too. So Grok, today they released this new feature, which allows for kind of like multiple screens, like so a split screen. So you can have it do this work over here. And this is what it's actually creating. And then you're able to edit this. And this is basically a document. So you can also have it do different coding and create whole reports and research papers and different things with your ability to go back and forth and clarify the information that you want it to talk about.
So this is why X Premium Plus
cool.
went to $40.
This was interesting. I guess this is the only. Yeah, probably. Yeah, probably. I thought that it actually had other. Let's see, videos. Okay, so yeah, here, prepare a report, and then they had the information there. Electric vehicle population data, and then it shows all of the actual programming in the back, the code, and then now you see the preview. And then so this is what it is able to generate based on the information that was in that document.
Wow.
Right.
Did you see?
So this is getting pretty dynamic. And remember,
are we lagging? We must be lagging.
from Google Drive. No, go ahead.
So Eric Schmidt
Yep.
put out a post the other day saying that we're essentially 6 years from extinction. In 6 years, humans won't matter anymore. He said that AI is already teaching itself at such a crazy rate and is rebuilding itself that within 6 years, human like brain power will be obsolete, and that people aren't giving it the due on how how bad this is, like how scary it is.
I still think that so like that whole thing is based on the idea that we're not going to be able to align ourselves correctly with AI, and then so AI won't need us anymore or will destroy us by our own hand, right? Like we create a tool that we use incorrectly. But I think it's kind of exciting and interesting to think that we're probably going to end up like converging. I think there'll be a convergence. I think there'll be a moment where, yeah, I mean, basically, because I mean, like, it's kind of like if you could remember everything or increase your efficiency or capacity, by updating yourself, I think that we will get to that. I do believe people will do that. I definitely think that it's a thing that's happening, to be honest.
But is it creating the dumbing down of America? Remember, we just had a discussion that old car manuals used to tell you how to like set your points and your carburetor. Now they don't even have tires, and it's like most people don't even know how to change a tire.
Yes. I was the last class in my school. Well, actually, yeah, that didn't. I think I was the last one that learned even a little bit of cursive, right? And then also the last class to learn analog clocks, right? But analog clocks are not necessary. Like all clocks are digital now. Like everybody has digital. You know what I mean? Like, new manuals tell you not to drink the battery acid. That's crazy. But also it's like
what's up, hybrid family?
Yeah, hey, hybrid family. Team on how to drive a stick shift. Exactly. Right. Yeah, absolutely. Like, stick shift manual, like, yeah, a lot of people don't know how to drive manual anymore. For sure. Let's say teen.
She meant to say team instead of team. Or
oh yeah,
he meant my bad. I don't know why I said that.
100%. But so I really just think that the work changes, right? So some of these older things I don't think you necessarily need to know how to do, right? So like you don't need to know that VHSs should be rewound after you finish watching them. You know what I mean? If nobody even uses a VHS, hey, you never know. It could be Mama Hybrid behind the PFP this time.
Right? It could be. It could be.
There we go. Right.
And but I mean that could lead us down a rabbit hole on how the pyramids were built and lost technology, and why we haven't been back to the moon because of lost technology, and it's just be kind, rewind, hell yeah.
Yep. Hell yeah, absolutely. But so that's what I got there on X. These couple of quick hits, right? We have Panama's capital to accept crypto for taxes and municipal fees. So Panama is accepting this, and this is actually not as surprising as it might be to some people, for me. And the biggest reason is because Panama is one of the biggest international trade ports where everything, a lot of everything goes in and out of. Panama is actually one of the cheapest places to get name brand products and goods, because when the boats come through Panama and they're too heavy, they unload stuff and sell it at an extreme discount, right, to just keep going on their way. So when the boats are overloaded, yeah. So people go to Panama, you can get your name brand colognes, your Coach purses, all that stuff. If you go to Panama, you can get all that stuff like significantly cheaper and tax-free. So check it out. But so I expected this because countries are accepting crypto and starting to adopt it. So, I mean, like, if you want to get paid, you're going to accept everybody's money, right? You're not going to be discriminatory as to whose shekels you're going to accept. You want all the shekels. So
not to mention Panama is one of those.
There's going to be an SEC.
Panama is one of those like safe havens for businesses and stuff. A lot of people,
yes.
I mean, 100%. We went through this talking with people. It's like, well, what you do is You open, you start a company in Panama, you open it there, but then you open a company in the Canary Islands, and the Canary Islands company owns the company in the Panama. But then you also open a company in Timbuktu, and that company actually owns the company in the Canary Islands. So by
Yeah.
the time the dominoes get back to you, man, it's all gone.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You're in Tahiti sipping Mai Tais.
Right.
Absolutely. That was actually, we had a lot of those conversations with lawyers, and it's
Yes.
like so serious, not
Yes, we
joking.
did.
But yeah, it's absolutely crazy. But so we have this, the SEC's next roundtable to discuss crypto custody with insiders. This is a commission that is not officially announced. Paul Atkins leading the SEC's regulatory efforts on crypto, but we're seeing more and more of these meetings, and these are something we want to pay attention to, because crypto custody is very important for the custody to be ours. So when we have custodians, situations like FTX are likely to happen if the institutions get their way, because they want to have all of our money and have all the control too. The
Right.
fractionalized banking system is basically the thing that they want to recreate with digital money, because then they can leverage it a million times everywhere against each other and with each other, and that's kind of probably their plan.
Yeah.
So, last thing I got is just a recap of Elon Musk's XAI launching Grok Studio to challenge ChatGPT with split screen collaboration. And this is what we already went through, but I like this. I thought it was interesting. And yes, crates fall off the boat. But that's what we got. That is it for the news. It was very boring. Everybody keeps talking about tariffs, and to be honest, I didn't care to read more articles about tariffs, because you got some people saying, "Oh, the economy is terrible right now, but tariffs will be great in 40 years or maybe next month." And then you have some people that are like, "Oh, this is the worst thing that's ever happened in the entire history of America."
Right.
And you know, it's
Very
probably not even close on either side.
no. It's a very. Well, I don't even know if it's a
Complex issue.
bipartisan. I don't even know if it's a bipartisan issue.
Well, I think it's
it's
how people are experiencing it, right? So it kind
Right.
of depends on how it's experiencing it. So, like you were talking about your boss talking about buying $1 million worth of ceiling
Right.
fans or whatever it was, or lights.
Yeah, he's freaking out. He's freaking out.
Well, and
The
I asked my boss about epoxy, right? Because the epoxy
Right.
comes from Canada. So I was like, "Are you worried about tariffs?" He said, "Nah, think it's just posturing, and then it'll go away." Okay, maybe,
which is
but
true, but
which
if
is
it's
true
6 months,
until, you know what I mean? It's true
Right.
until you make an order that was $100,000 and now it's actually $125,000 because of the
right.
yeah. So I mean, I agree. Posturing and everything's fun and great, but this is the same thing. People respond this way all the time. Nobody cares until it affects them. Then when it affects them, it's a problem.
And technically, so like, I mean, they make all this deal out of the stock market and crypto crashing, but the things that these affect, it's a very small percentage of people that this affects. You know what I mean? Your average normie that's just going about his days, he freaking works 10 hours, comes home, drinks a freaking beer, watches a movie, goes to sleep, watches football on the weekend. You know, most people can't even afford stocks or crypto or anything like that. But it does affect, the people that it does affect are very, very vocal.
Yes.
So,
well, Dave Portnoy, did you see that?
I'm not a fan of Dave Portnoy.
Well, I know, but did you see that?
No,
like,
I didn't see it.
$7.5 million, right? But he was talking about,
Safe
Stop.
Moon.
I don't know. I don't know what he's talking about. Greed 1,
He's
greed
like
2, greed 3.
he's like
I
the
don't know.
epitome of a pump and dumper, and he's still he should be a pariah in crypto, but he's not. He's still so beloved. It's so crazy.
Yeah, 100%. But so that's what I got. I don't know how we want to do this. Do we want to just look at the market really quick, or
Yeah, I'm just gonna go over Bitcoin. I mean, it's pretty much in the same spot it was yesterday. We'll just check out Bitcoin. Nothing's changed, so we don't even have to roll the B-roll. We just get right into it. Let me get my
And
tab.
Austin Clark, dude, this comment cracked me up and it put me off because I am like 100% certain they have to be somebody we know, but without without your Twitter handle,
Right.
Discord handle, or
Well,
whatever.
if they're calling me a cutie, then they're probably a little touched in the head. I'm just
You're gonna say they need glasses. They let their glasses at
They
home.
need glasses. I'll let them borrow my glasses. But welcome to the show. We are happy that you are here for sure. All right. Oh, did I not? What's going on here? Oh, I got to remove yours. There we go. Let's go. Let's see. So we left off last night right here. And well, now we're here. So there you go. That's the crypto market. Nothing's happening. Going to zero. No. I'm just joking. Okay. So we talked about this last night, though, and we've been talking about it, that Bitcoin and actually XRP mirrors this, is in these falling wedges, right? So, and just like the past few days, we bring this up, today's candle, boom, wicked right to that same SR level, almost within $50, and then drop back down. And now we got a new candle still trying to break this trend line. I thought we were going to break it earlier. I got some alerts, and when the 2 hour, we hit our head. So that's Saturday. This is Monday. And then we were able to break out of it, come back down. And then today we broke the trend line on the 2 hour. We hit the freaking SR level. And then I was sitting there doing something. I kept getting notifications, and I look at my phone, and we just gave it all back and then some with a large engulfing red candlestick. And now your Stokes are starting to get a little high. RSI still can't seem to make it over the 50 level. Daily Stokes are super overbought, while the daily RSI is barely over the 50. So I think we're still in here. I still think there's more downside. The only hopium that I'm seeing on this right here is the more times we test an SR level, okay? The more times you test the SR level, the more likely you are to break through it. Want to know a really easy and statistical way of looking at Bitcoin or anything? Take a time-based fib in the tools. Go from October 1st. Statistically, Q1 makes the high/low more often than not. You can use this to see the fiscal year to fiscal year. I called the bearish yearly move doing this. Okay. I can see that. But I am not going to go through all that right now. So, but basically, this is where we're at. And we're just bouncing around. If we don't break this, we're eventually going to break this or get rejected. We're creating like a little descending triangle inside of the daily right here. And I'm still banking that we're dropping down. We're probably going to hit about 70K. We may not come all the way down to the bottom of the pattern, like by the end of the month, about 68, but we are going to make a lower low, in my opinion. I mean, the Stokes being oversold like this so much, And we can only stay oversold for so long. And it's not like we're in a bull. We're not in a bull trend. If we were in a bull trend, we could stay overheated for weeks or even a month, but not being in a bull trend, we are in the downtrend. This is going to give out. And even looking at the smaller time frames, even though we're getting a little bit of a pump right now, we're already starting to give it back. Because look, the 1 hour, boom, rejection, down, and we're getting another rejection right here. So we just wicked up within the past hour. Well, within the past 42 minutes, we wicked up, got rejected, coming back down. Stokes are heading to the downside. RSI is hitting its head on your 14 moving average. It is above the 50, but it's hitting its head right here. So we might be able to break out of this overnight. I don't think it's going to happen. I think definitely more downside to go. Let's get rid of all this. We come down here, look at SWE. SWE's pretty much in the same thing. Go out to the daily. So we did lose the 208 SR level today. You can see we sat on it yesterday. Today, we tried to stay above it and couldn't. We lost it. And now we are down here. So Stokes are going to the downside. You have, oops, come on. I need to make these bigger. There we go. So RSI still in the bearish territory on the daily. And we are probably, it would not surprise me if we jump back down or at least wick back down to this 189. I mean, $2 is a psychological level, and I'm not saying don't buy right now, because I would definitely, DCA is not till Friday, but I would definitely pick up some SWE at 206 for sure. But you got to be prepared for the bottom to fall out. If we can't get above that, you can see right here where we lost it. We wicked the next candle, even though it was a green candle, wicked all the way down to 172, got back above it, and it still took us 3 days to get back above these levels right here. So, and everything is pretty much in the same boat. Here we go. ADA, Stokes heading to the downside. I feel like a record on repeat. One thing is 59 cents is holding, which is good. You can see we had a little indecision doji right here today on the daily. That could be a reversal right there. So three red candles, indecision doji could mark the bottom of this move right here. And it wicked perfectly off the 59.5. Yeah, exactly down to 59.5. So it wicked right to here. And then today's candle, we're starting to get a little bit of a move today. So I could see ADA. ADA might try to reverse, but with the Stokes being so overbought, I still think it's going to bleed out. If we can't get back above the 21 and make that move back to 72 SR level, that there's no strength in the market. The market has no strength. That's why with the RSI levels, when we're below the 50, that's why I call this the bear territory and this the bull territory, because RSI, relative strength index. So there's literally no strength in the friggin', it does show up. Okay. So there's literally no strength in the market. Coming down to XRP, same thing on the daily. We got a bunch of wicks, a bunch of indecisions here, green, red, green, red, green, boom. We're barely right in the 21. We can't get above the trend line. We're sitting on top of 204, which is the SR level. We wicked down to it today, reversed. What's the low? So we actually wicked a little bit below it. So the low was 203.44 and the SR level is 204.02. So within, a fraction of a percent. And I think we're just going to keep We're just going to go sideways. We may not dump, but I don't see any scenarios in the near future that we pump. So boring sideways action. I don't know. What do you think,
Sad.
John?
I think that that's sad, disappointing, but everybody that doesn't have enough crypto to become a millionaire this cycle should be psyched, because this is your opportunity to accumulate that at prices that are better than we've seen for a very long time.
Yep.
So don't get down, just start stacking or continue stacking. And then, when the bull market happens, and then that guy that you told about crypto ages ago, he's like, hey, so how's your crypto going? Then you say, oh, it's fine. And then you immediately go home and you sell all of your crypto for cash, because that's the top of the market.
Right.
And then
I should have known that. I should have known that at Thanksgiving when my aunts were asking me about crypto.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, Bitcoin. How's Bitcoin doing? I seen something in the news. It's
Yeah,
like,
because they want to know if you got money.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I've been talking to you about Bitcoin and buying Bitcoin for 6 freaking years. And now all of a sudden you want to bring up the discussion. I should have known that was the local top right there.
Yeah. So when that happens to you, make sure you sell your entire bag, get a new phone, change your number. You know what I mean? Then when the whole market crashes and they're like, what's going on? Then you say, oh, well, I got all this money here in cash. Maybe I'll start to move some of that back in for next time and do it again.
Yep. There you go. That's the way to do it.
But that's what we got. Happy Wednesday. No worries. Sharing what I do. Austin Clark, we appreciate you, man, so much. A lot of good tips there. You guys need to check out what he's talking about there in the comments. Highly recommend. Dude, this community is awesome. We have a lot of really bright people and sharing different ideas. And we have our trading group and things going on as well. So this is exciting. We love it. We love it. We hope everybody wins. And with that, we'll see you guys on the next time. We are Crypto Nightly. We bring you the daily news nightly, and we come to you live Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Pacific time. Monday through Friday.
You really? Everybody do us a favor. John's not used to doing this. Everybody do us a favor. Hit that like button, subscribe, and notification bell. If you're on X, tag some DGens. Give us a repost. We go live Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. PST, bringing you the daily news nightly, and same time tomorrow.
Look at that. All right. Peace. We'll see y'all then.
Introducing the relaunch of JPEG Boss Mint, a game changer in the NFT world. This isn't just another mint. It's a community-governed project where you hold the power. Here's the deal. 50% of all mint funds fuel a community investment wallet controlled by boss holders like you, driving collective growth. The proceeds, 60%, go straight back to active participants, rewarding your engagement. 20% powers overhead and expansion. And the final 20% flows to JPEG Empire until the seed funding's repaid. Join the revolution, mint with purpose, govern the future, and reap the rewards.